Hey everybody, welcome back to the Rebel Chumps channel. Today I'm gonna discuss something that is a little bit controversial for you guys. Some of them will like it, what I'm gonna say, and some people are gonna hate what I'm gonna say. And some people will say, oh, this guy, Rebel Chumps, he's hating on saberforge. He's always shitting on saber companies. Anyway, as you might know by now, I have a love-hate relationship with saberforge. And my channel is about lightsaber reviews. I do lightsaber reviews, the good, the bad, everything in between. So for me it's important to keep buying lightsabers from certain companies, including saberforge. Saberforge is actually a very big aspect of my channel, and I will get back into that in a moment. But today we're going to discuss 5 things why I like saberforge and why I keep buying saberforge. And your top 5 might be very different than mine, because it's a personal opinion based top 5, and my top 5 does not have a number 1 or 5 in terms of priority. It's just 5 things that I'm gonna talk about and why I like saberforge. So I'm gonna bring it up and you're gonna leave in the comments if you agree or not. Please keep it nice, let's keep it civilized, and let me know what your top 5 is and why you like saberforge. If you don't like it, I can understand it, just keep it to a minimum. This is my 5 reasoning of liking saberforge, and here we go. So let's start. We'll start with number 1 or number 5, doesn't matter. Let's count to number 5. Number 1, and it's gonna be awkward for some people to think about it, but my number 1 is basically a product called Padawan hilts, or Shoto blades, or Shoto Hills. Sorry, I just like the fact that saberforge is one of the very few companies in the custom lightsaber industry that caters both to kids and hilts that are basically very mobile. And you might think, why is that a good thing? For kids, of course, it's good to introduce them in the lightsaber hobby. And they have smaller hands, they need hilts that are lighter, and they need basically something that's more towards the proportion of the body length, etc. Plus, for me, I look at it from a point of view that the Shoto hilts are fantastic as open carry hilts, because the regular apprentice hilts or the elite line hilts are a little bit too long, too big to open carry, in my personal opinion. The lightsabers have a tendency to snag behind stuff when you sit down, stand up, behind your t-shirt. It gets muffled up everywhere, it dings against stuff as you're walking around all day long. So I like to open carry a lightsaber because I really like to take my hobby outdoors. I want to introduce people to lightsabers. I want to show off that I love this hobby and maybe they also will love it. And by carrying a lightsaber, it also makes me feel more involved with the whole Star Wars universe, like the concept of Jedi Sith. Oh, iPad is timing out there. So I like that, and that's why I think Shoto hilts are a really important factor that saberforge brings to the market, and I really like them for that. I think they did a really good job with that. And don't worry, Shoto hilts will be reviewed here on this channel, or have already been reviewed about the time this video comes up. I'm not entirely sure yet. It will be there. Okay, so number 2 is diversity of their products. Saberforge comes with a lot of different products to the market. Their catalogus is enormous. They have over 60, maybe 70 different hilts. They have the original canon hilts, the original trilogy hilts, I should say. They have the prequel hilts. They have the Old Republic hilts, which is, to me, oh sorry, to me it's really important. I really love KOTOR and SWOTOR. They're my favorite game franchises, and I love the history and the backstories of the Old Republic. What happened before everything we know, like how were the old times of the Jedi and Sith, and how they're related to what we know in the original trilogy and the prequels. So I really dig that. Plus they also have their own design, so they have certain hilts that are made by themselves, like say the Ronin, for example. That's a good example. It's a saberforge's own hilt design. So they have a whole bunch of different elements on saber options for you. So if you're an original trilogies guy, they have options. well, I put again. If you are a prequel guy, then they have options for you as well. So I really dig that. The diversity of the products. They have different types of blades. They have day blades. They have photon blades. They have photon blades, yeah, I believe so. They have the containment blade. They have the ice cone blade. They have so many different types of blades as well. They have different kind of products. They have saber stands and whatnot. They have a whole broad line of items that they have in the selection. Plus they keep evolving their lightsabers. So if you, for example, I'm a big fan of the Saberforge Gladius. No secret, everybody knows who watching this channel, I'm a big fan of the Saberforge Gladius, and I'm not scared to scream it off the top of the roof, because I do like Saberforge a lot for that. So they also have a whole line of evolution of lightsabers, like the originals, Gladius V1, and then the Cyphos, and then the Gladius 2015 model, and now this Cyphos V2, the Initiate tier. So they have a whole a progression there, and then you can pick up the different versions of that particular hilt, and there's a whole bunch of other examples, and then collect those. And that's really cool because the brand and the products keep evolving. It's not stagnating like you only have one hilt. With some certain companies, they have one hilt design and they use that in their catalogs for over 10 years. It's the same exact hilt. It never really changes anything. So I like that. Yeah, I like that Saberforge is so dynamic with their products. I really dig that. So the next point is good-looking hilts. Let me just get the iPad here because it keeps timing out. So good-looking hilts to me are, for example, a really important factor, and I think for most people watching this video now, because good-looking hilts depict what you're gonna buy and what you're gonna leave on the shelves. It's the first thing that draws your eyes to it, and if it draws your eye enough, you are willing to be spending money on it. And Saberforge has a whole bunch of good-looking hilts. Just have to be said, it's true. They have a whole lot of good looking hilts. You can hate on Saberforge or not, but most of the hilts look pretty darn good. And that is really important to me because, yeah, I'm a visual person and most people are. Next one is relatively inexpensive. And it's true, relatively inexpensive. Like Saberforge, if you take it a step back and go to the empty hilts, and as a do-yourself guy, I'd look at it from that perspective. They're really inexpensive. The Shoto blades or the Padawan blades are just $60. They're full of details, little neat sabers, one-piece hilts with a separate pommel, of course, but the same as the Initiated line. Apprentice line. This is fantastic. I always praise the Saberforge Apprentice line. I always think they're fantastic, and I've never denied that. I always actually praise that. So the Initiative line at $75 is also, again, a very affordable hilt because they're full of details, they're well designed, they just work perfectly. And then the next step are the elite hilts, and that's, of course, sometimes you've seen my videos, it's a little bit of a hit or miss with the construction of the hilt and whatnot, and it also depends on your personal taste and opinions and on your personal needs in a certain hilt. But at $150 over the broad line, for example, an empty hilt of Luke Skywalker is not expensive because there's not much competition on that level for empty hilts of a Luke Skywalker. Yes, there are other companies out there that have a very accurate Luke Skywalker, for example, but you're looking at least 4 to 6 times the price, for example, for just the empty hilt. And that is, of course, a significant difference. And then, if you take it in that perspective, the Saberforge empty hilts are quite inexpensive. I'm not going to talk too much about the Saber Core options or the Hero tier options, because I do have a different opinion about those costs for what you get and what you pay for. But from the empty hilt perspective, for the do-yourself guys, or if you send your empty Saberforge hilt to somebody like an installer that installs it with a non-Saber Core product, for example a Prism 5.1 or maybe Crystal Focus 9 or an N-neck soundboard, Igniter R3 for example, then you can have a really high-end little saber for not too much money. So I think that's really fantastic. Then the last point, I already talked a little bit about it, but I like that Saberforge keep innovating. They keep coming with new stuff. Every few months there are either new hilts, new saber products such as blades or saber stands or whatever related to lightsabers. They will come with new stuff, and they will keep working on their existing products as well. So I think that's a really good progression, especially in the recent few, I would say in the last 2 quarters of the last year and this year, 2018, they made some really bigger improvements. They really started to ramp up, see and listen to their audience and their customers and all the negative feedback and all the issues and complaints. For example, they're coming now with a chassis for their soundboards. So going forward, it will not be electro taped in anymore or shrink taped inside the hilt. No, they actually will have a proper chassis, and they actually start to listen more and more to their customers. And I think that is also a big change since, I forgot his first name, something Rob Snyder came in, the lead designer at Saberforge, and now I really can see Saberforge is steering towards a much positive outcome. So I think that's really good, and I think that's going to be a wonderful development at Saberforge and their products going forward. So this was my top 5. I want to know from you guys, do you agree or not, and why or why not? Let me know in the comments. Let's keep it civilized, okay guys? Again, I hope you liked this video. Make sure to subscribe and like, and hopefully see you in the next video. And as always, stay scummy. Bye bye.